The second issue in the new Star Wars comic series that was released today started a bit slow, but it had one of the best endings I can remember for any current canon comic, even considering the Darth Vader series, showing some amazing lore potential that I've now come to expect from writer Charles Soule. Today's second issue begins with Luke, Leia, Lando, and Chewbacca having rendezvoused with the Rebels fleet 4th Division, still during the events of Episode 5. Given the events on Cloud City and the fortunate escape from the Imperial ambush seen in the previous first issue of the series, tensions between Lando and Leia are high, not knowing if Lando can be trusted. Ultimately, they agree to let Lando take the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca to Tatooine, to try to see if Han was already in possession of Jabba the Hutt, and if not, to find leads on Boba Fett. Despite the fact that he was still recovering from his duel with Vader and struggling to find his place within the galaxy, not knowing if he still had a path as a Jedi given who his father was, Luke wanted to help and go back to Tatooine as well. But they decided even though he might have the Force, Luke needed to recover, and they weren't at the point yet where they could try to take Han back by force. As Lando and Chewbacca traveled to Tatooine, Leia told Luke to go to the medical bay to begin the process of obtaining his cybernetic hand, which he'd already begun. But Luke was still deeply troubled and not sure if it would help, as since his duel with Vader and the reveal that the Sith Lord was his father, Luke had lost so much more and no longer felt like himself. Even after Leia's words of encouragement that Luke would always be who he was, he couldn't help but struggle with Vader's words regarding his destiny. Jumping forward to the end of the comic here and the focus of our video, we then see Luke, who by that time had received his cybernetic hand, training with a remote, not with a lightsaber, but with a blaster. After failing his exercise, Luke was approached by Lando, who returned from Tatooine. Even Lando questioned why Luke was using a blaster, given that he had the Force as his ally, and it didn't take Lando long to conclude that Luke and the Force weren't on good terms at that moment. Pressed by Luke, Lando got to his point. Having used the opportunity to confront Jabba about Han to try to obtain an ally to take back Cloud City from the Empire, but failed given Jabba already had an arrangement with the Empire, and then also being rejected by Chewbacca, Lando turned to his last hope in Luke. Given Luke's position within the rebellion and his friendship with Leia and the other rebel leaders, Lando wanted Luke to help him get to Cloud City. And Lando explained why Luke had a reason to help him. Knowing Luke lost his lightsaber on Cloud City and how important it was to him, the plan was for Luke to say he had to go back for his lightsaber, taking Lando with him as his guide. Luke initially hesitated, questioning why he would ever want to go back given what happened to him there. But Lando was adamant. He knew Cloud City, and he knew where the lightsaber would be after it fell, allowing Luke to get it back. At that point, Luke began to remember the events during his duel with Vader, where his hand was severed, causing the lightsaber to plunge into the reactor shaft below. However, Luke then began having a vision of something else, losing himself enough to forget about Lando entirely. As the vision continued, he saw another hand reached out to retrieve the falling lightsaber, catching the weapon that had initially belonged to Anakin Skywalker and then given to Luke by Obi-Wan. And it wasn't merely a vision. Luke then heard a voice telling him to follow his destiny, revealing a hidden figure within Jedi robes, extending the Jedi weapon before them, contrasting perfectly to the opposite destiny Luke had with Vader. It's an amazing scene, and while we'll have to see exactly how much of it is literal or otherwise, it's great to note that we'll be seeing what happened to the iconic lightsaber after Episode 5 within the canon. Even better, I'm looking forward to seeing who this hidden figure is. We could very likely be seeing a Jedi who survived long into the era of the Empire, as there appears to be more that connects this being to the Jedi than just the robes and their calling out to Luke through the Force. I'll give a spoiler warning here, as I'm going to jump into what I believe is some important information found within the publisher's summaries for the upcoming issues. Although we don't know much, it's likely that this point will serve as the beginning of Luke's next steps for Jedi wisdom, as it appears that Luke will eventually travel to what's referred to as a lost planet, looking for a woman he believes may hold the key to his Jedi future. We could very well be seeing that individual here within Luke's vision, but I think I'm looking forward to seeing that part of the lore being revealed than even the outcome with the once lost lightsaber. Again, it's just a great ending to the issue, and I'd love to hear what you think about the ending down in the comments section below, in regard to who this hidden figure might be and what the vision could mean, whether we should take it literally or maybe something else entirely. So there we have it, what Luke was doing in the immediate aftermath of Episode 5. Thank you very much to all of the Patreon members of Star Wars Reading Club, as your support is so greatly appreciated. You can find all of our social media links and a link to our Star Wars gaming channel in the description below for updates and even more Star Wars content. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me... for knowing Vader will show up at some point too.